Welcome to the Traveling Knitter channel. My name is Steph, and this is going to be a 7 books in 7 days reading challenge. I have gone through the books that I currently have and kind of picked out the ones that I think I could read in a day. I've seen some people do this challenge. I'm gonna modify it a bit. Basically, I don't have to start and finish the book in one day, because I work. So that's absolutely not gonna happen. I can't spend the whole day reading. So these are the books that I've picked that I think I can read. I also have some audiobooks that I might put in, but my goal is to physically read 7 books. So I've even ranked them in the order that I think I will be able, most likely to finish. The way that the challenge is gonna work is from Monday through Sunday, so Monday being tomorrow, I will read. My goal is to have finished the 7th book by Sunday. I am taking 2 days off for a bit of a staycation because I have some appointments and I just feel like taking the whole day off. But I am working Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday I go into the office. So those are gonna be the days that I have the least amount of time to read. So we're gonna start with on this side. I have The Wild Iris. This is by Louise Gluck, who is a Pulitzer Prize winning author, poet. And I think, yeah, they've won the Nobel Prize as well. And are they a poet laureate? They're a very well-known poetry writer. So I have one of their poem collections that I wanted to get to, and one of my earlier, or maybe most recent video, I talked about how I wanted to read a bit more classics. So I'm considering this a classic. It's poems. This is gonna take me maybe an hour to read, although I'll probably want to read it a little bit slower, but still 2 hours max. Then I have When You Listen to This Song on Memory Loss and Writing by Lola Lafon, translated by Lauren Elkin, and I believe this is translated from French. And this also does not have full page writing. Okay, there is some, but there's a lot of blank pages. It's a lot of chapters and a lot of white space. She's a writer, and she is, I don't know if she's the only person, but we'll just say one of few who have been allowed to spend the night in the Anne Frank house. And I believe she wrote some of this while there, or had ideas for what she was going to write. So I believe this is also one that would probably take me maybe 2-3 hours to complete. So my thought is Monday, Tuesday. Then I have the first volume of Lore Olympus. I had grand plans of collecting the hardback Lore Olympus. And yeah, I only had the first one. And then I wanted to buy some more, and you can't buy them. Other than you can buy the paperback ones. So I think I'm not going to collect these then, but I never read this. So I think this is my Wednesday plan. I mean, this is all loose, but these are the 3 that I believe are the easiest ones on the collection. And then I grabbed the Memory Spinner. I have quite a lot of children's books on my currently checked out. I have a couple friends that have kids. Frankly, not a lot. It's one friend, one family who I'm friends with that I see semi-regularly have kids, and otherwise nobody in my friend group has kids. But I buy books for them, and they are getting older, and so I'm just not as up on my children's literature. you know, other than what I was reading as a kid. So I've been wanting to read a couple kids books just to like, you know, see what's out there. So I feel like margins are larger, font is larger, there's typically a lot of dialogue. I'll read this guy. This is about Lavender. Her mom had died. She becomes friends with a magical dressmaker and a mysterious talking raven. And they spin magic for Lavender to, I feel like, go back in time when her mom was still alive. Probably not great for you, but that's what this one is. And then I have The Subtle Art of Folding Space. I did talk about this one previously. It is pretty short, and I did go see John Chu speak at the Columbus Book Festival, so I'm even more excited to read this. Then I have a couple of my own books. Percy Jackson and the Olympians. Yeah, I never read Percy Jackson. I have not read a single Rick Riordan book, and so I do want to correct that, and I feel like I may not love it as much as when I was younger, but I feel like this would kick off, and there's so many to read, and it would just be so much fun. Plus there's the newer TV show that I've heard is a lot better than the movie. So this guy. And I also have I Believe in a Thing Called Love. When I started getting into like BookTube, Maureen Gu was pretty popular, so I have a couple of her books, and it's YA. It'd be a breeze to get through. I have Worst Case Scenario. I know. This one, it's not that this is short, it's that the other two books, I didn't want to do anything else other than read. So I feel like this will probably be in the same boat. Batshit 7. This book is also like not a ton of, there's a lot of white space in here. The back of this says, being Hong Kongese means dealing with the desire to find narratives to contextualize your sorrows. It is to run home alone in the rain without an umbrella, crying and enjoying it. It's set in Hong Kong. It sounds confusing. One of the sentences says, inventive and utterly irresistible, with QR codes woven throughout, Shang King's ingenious novel encapsulates the anxieties and apathies of the millennial experience. Batshit 7 is an ode to a beloved city, an indictment of the cycles of imperialism, and a reminder of the beautiful things left under the hype of a commodified living. It sounds cool. Plus, my newest Herkiad challenge is to read books that have the numbers said in the title, so it would be great. And then I have Girls Girl, who I went to a author talk for, got my copy signed, and it is about 3 girls and a summer in Ohio. I feel like I'm going to relate to this a lot because it's pretty much set when I was growing up. So, and I'm from Ohio. Last ones I have, Nothing to See Here by Kevin Wilson. I've had this book on my shelf for so long. This is a book about 2 kids that just catch fire when they have extreme emotions. And it just, everything that I'd heard about this made it sound like something that I would be interested in. So there's that. And then the last one I have is Snake Eater, which is another T. Kingfisher book. This is one I don't think I'd be able to read in one day unless it was like a Saturday or Sunday, but that's okay. My goal, I think, well, obviously the goal is 7 books in 7 days, but let's say I read this on Monday, I'll have more time. So then I will probably pick up, you know, The Subtle Art of Folding Space, and I'll read that. And then I probably won't finish this. So then I'll pick up this book and I'll finish this on Tuesday, and the extra time I will read this one. So that when it comes to these larger books, you know, like Wednesday, if I can't finish a book, then it's okay. I've worked on this. So that is my plan. 7 books in 7 days. I'm excited. The last few months, the desire to read has been stronger than the desire to knit. And I'm going to embrace it. I'm also behind on my Goodreads challenge. So this would be fantastic if I get 7 books read in 1 week. That'd be crazy. And who knows, maybe I can like extend it. Not in this challenge, but to do an even longer challenge. We'll see. Good morning. It's Monday and I'm at work. Oh, my hair looks so not good. I have some important meetings today, hence this suit jacket that I literally bought in 2013. And it was big when I bought it, and now it's not big. Oh, so depressing. Anyway, I have a donut that I purchased yesterday, and I have my Earl Grey. Well, it's a London fog because it's a latte, but no coffee. And I have the Wild Iris. My game plan today is in between my meeting breaks, I will read some of this. So the Pomodoro method, where you're like X amount of time on, X amount of time off, I utilize that during work when I am heavily struggling to complete tasks. And I have my own modified way of doing it. Essentially, I make a list of all the things I would like to accomplish with the goal of accomplishing one thing from that list every hour. And then once I've completed that thing, I either will jump to the next thing if I think that's going to take me longer than an hour, or I use some of the time as a break. And normally I play on my phone. I scroll on my phone. I either play this airplane game that I've been playing that I absolutely adore. You basically just collect airplanes that are flying above you. Or I will play a game of Ticket to Ride on Board Game Arena, because that's like a 15-minute game that you can play. But instead of going to a screen, I'm going to go to this book. So I'm going to go ahead and read maybe 1 or 2 of the poems. Like, if you're like, oh my God, you're reading on company time, this is going to take me maybe 30 seconds to read, right? So it'll be a nice break. And I would love to like finish this book by the end of the workday. I don't know if that'll happen because I have, how many meetings do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have 6 meetings and 2 of those are an hour long. So I'm like normal, I'm spending the majority of my day in meetings. Honestly, right now, from 8 to 10 is the largest chunk where I don't have a meeting. And that is when I kind of work through what is it that my goals for the day. Like, what am I going to attempt to accomplish? It's also when I find out who's like not working today, like who's on vacation that I need to be talking to. And yeah, so anyway, that's the game plan. My goal is to read this and then have, 2 or 3 hours to read one of my longer books. That's the game plan. So with that, I will see you later. I'm done with work. I did not finish this. I got to page 20 out of like 60 something. Little man is using the scratching post as I talk. I figured I would just be working rather than having time to read. So I am actually going to sit outside. I've already changed. I'm going to finish this book and probably do a little bit of chores because I do have some things I want to get done today. But I'm going to finish this and hang out with the cats on the porch. Kittens, do we want to do porch time? Yeah. Come on, porch time. 1 kitten, 2 kitten. This is out because it rained and I don't want this to get soaking wet, so then I just place it on the floor here and then the cats get to lay on it when they're looking out the window. Okay, porch time. There's Astrid. I finished The Wild Iris by Louise Gluck. I never really know how to rate or rank like poetry. I feel like it's supposed to invoke a lot of feeling in me, and it just doesn't. This was a lot of poems that had elements of plants in them. And it also felt very much like depression. So I guess I give it 3 stars. It was fine. Poetry's just not for me. It's 5:01 and I am moving on to my second book, and I am mood selecting, and I'm gonna go for Girl's Girl. This is, how many pages? 241 pages. So my plan, how many chapters are there? I like to do some, the chapters don't have numbers. There are no numbers in the chapters. So I guess I'm gonna say my goal for today is to get to page 77. Yeah, maybe 100 would be fantastic, but I have already finished a book today, so let's get started. Okay, it's been a little over an hour. Well, an hour spent reading, but then I was on my phone, which I said I wouldn't do, but you just get distracted. I am on page 47, and I am loving this book so far. It is, I like completely see myself in this. It's basically following 3 girls, Margaret, Eleanor, and who's our main character? I feel like the main character doesn't have a name. I don't see her name anywhere. And us, main character, she has been best friends with Margaret and Eleanor for as long as she can remember, basically. But she is starting to realize that her love for Eleanor is different than her love for Margaret. There's a lot of just constantly hanging out, which is very much like what my summers felt like, where I pretty much hung out with my friends every day and always had sleepovers. I slept out in the tent with my friends constantly. Like, we considered it a success if we could have 2 sleepovers in a row at the same person's house. Sometimes we would sleep over at one place and then the next night you were sleeping over at another place. Love sleepovers. Heck, I did sleepovers past college with my friends. I still have sleepovers and I love it. I love friendship, and this is just almost like an ode to it. There's also a lot of discussion and conversation about relationships with your mom. So it's really good. It's really good so far. I am flying through it. Now I'm gonna stay out and read a little bit more until I finish my water, and then I'm gonna go inside and do some cleaning. And I can see Edifix just got on the couch inside, and I'll do a check-in then. Time to do a little bit more reading. I decided to go back and add some tabs, but we'll see how far I can get tonight before I fall asleep, which frankly just means before I put my book away, because I never fall asleep while reading. Okay, it is 4:45. I am done with work, and she kind of looks a little dirty. I have an update. I only have 100 pages to go on Girls Girl. I am loving this book. Talked a little bit about it yesterday, and I don't want to really talk too much about the plot, but about how I feel with this book. So I'm tabbing it. This reads like I'm reading my own journal. There are certain moments in this book that feel identical to moments I've had in my own life. Like there's talk about The Sims, and just the little things about The Sims really tells me that Sonia played The Sims. There is so much about our main characters just taking pictures of themselves whenever they're doing anything, and it's just so relatable. A little bit different in that I didn't have a phone growing up. I'm from the 2000s, and I would say this would be like the 2010s where kids have phones. And when I was in high school, maybe 5 or 10% of the kids had phones, and those phones didn't take pictures really. So we had digital cameras, but we all had digital cameras. We were taking pictures all the time and then posting them on Facebook in these massive folders where it would be 10 pictures that are basically the same but slightly different. And then you could put captions on all of them, and it's just very relatable. The time and place is very relatable. So I'm really loving it. And both the cats are here. Edifix is right there, and Astrid is right there. She likes to lay on the floor for some reason. Oh, girly pearly. So I think I'm gonna go outside and read and finish my book is the game plan. 6:15 and I finished. Hey bud. And I finished Girls Girl. 5 stars. So good. Oh, I really, really, really liked it. I mentioned that I see myself. A lot of it I don't see myself. Maybe the very obvious things I don't see myself. I did not do any of that when I was 15. But the feeling, the way that the story is written, our main character will have this very profound, deep thought, and in the same paragraph will say, and I put sparkly green eyeliner on, as if both are equally important. And it just made sense. You good baby. Book number 3, Batshit 7 by Xiong King. So I have not gotten very far in Batshit 7. I'm on chapter 4, but the average page length of a chapter is between 2 to 4 pages, so not very far. My main character's name is Glue. And it's so much, it's so far very much like Glue did this, Glue did that. I'm thinking, I like have to stand so awkwardly. I'm thinking my goal is gonna be to maybe read to 100 pages in here, but I want to read Lore Olympus. So my thought is I will read today, the goal, finish this book and 100 pages in this, and then I'll be an entire book in like forward above what I need to be doing. And then maybe finish this one tomorrow since I will not need to go to sleep early. I think that's the game plan. I am very excited for this. For now though, I'm going to tidy up my dining table and fold laundry, and then I will go back to reading.
Who's a naughty baby? Who's naughty? Who did that? Did you do that? Or did you do it? Who did it? No one wants to fess up? Doesn't he look like he did it?
Good morning. It is Wednesday and I am going into the office today because Wednesday is my in-office day. And so I'm gonna put makeup on my face. The game plan, I think, is to wear something burgundy because my pants are burgundy and I do like to match my makeup to something I'm wearing or the event I'm going to, my mood, that sort of thing. So, burgundy. Yep, okay. So I'm gonna use the Berries and Cream by Dominant Cosmetics, which I think no longer exists, but I will continue to use it until it causes an allergic reaction or I see visible mold. Last night I did finish Lore Olympus and I loved it. I gave it 5 stars. It is so cute. I love the art style. It is so beautiful and it really tells the story really well, I feel. Am I gonna go like light? Super light? So 5 stars for Lore Olympus. I did not get any further in Batshit 7, which you could count that as not a good sign, but I talked to my parents for a good while last night. So I didn't actually start reading Lore Olympus until after 9 o'clock. Well, I had started it because I was making dinner, but then when I was talking to my parents, I didn't get back to it until after 9. have a mini staycation to read for this challenge. Oh. Now to take the things out of my backpack that need to be removed. Ooh, hi, buddy. You're not supposed to be out here, but hi. We haven't said hello yet. Come here. Hi, hello, Angel. Hi, Angel. Hi. Yeah, haven't said hello. Hi. Hi. Hi, Angel. Hi, baby. Hi. You're a good boy. You're a good boy. You're a good boy. Yeah. You're a good boy. Hi. Oh. Oh. Is he not just the cutest? Look how cute you are. Look at your cute face. Oh, I love you so much. Oh. Oh. Okay. So, put this guy in. My staycation. I am currently on page 40 of Batshit 7. It's very easy to read. I don't relate to the main character whatsoever, but that's fine. I don't need to relate to a character to enjoy the book. We're following Glue, who has moved back to Hong Kong in the condo that his family, like, he grew up in, but he's the only one there now. And he's kind of, at the moment, reminiscing on things, and you're kind of like picking up on stuff. He went to college, I think, in Canada, and he's now back in Hong Kong. I feel like he doesn't have a job. It's hard to like understand with the flashbacks and stuff, because almost all of his flashbacks like involve him not being successful in what he's doing. And it's his fault, frankly. Like the one he just did was that he is an alcoholic, and so he could not wake up in time to go to work. He wasn't reliable. So he's so far not very likable, but what is interesting, I just came to my first QR code, and it took me to a video of a girl recording her walk around. I don't know if it was China or Japan. It's an Asian country, and I think she's maybe Russian. She's white, and she's recording people talking about her when they don't think that she understands them, but she does. So it's interesting because that's the video that he's watching. And so the author included the QR code for us, the readers, to watch it. So that's very interesting. And I think there's a couple instances of that. Yeah, there's more QR codes that bring you into the story. So I'm going to keep reading. It's 5:45. This is the thing. Every time I go into the office, I'm like, you just don't realize, or you forget how much time you waste commuting. And I walk to work. So like my commute isn't even traffic or anything. It's purely how long it takes me to walk less than a mile from my desk to my home. And it can take between 20 to 30 minutes, which isn't that long, but I'm looking at Edifix and he's just looking at me with his cute little face. But it is still like time that when I'm finished with work at home, I'm immediately transitioned to something else, right? Like I can be at my couch in less than a minute from turning my laptop off. So it is almost 6 o'clock already, and I'm gonna get some reading in. But I don't think I'm gonna go outside. I'm gonna just read on the couch. I'm a bit over halfway on Batshit 7 by Xiang King. There it is. And so far I'm giving it a 3-star. It's, I feel like what this is trying to tell me is the like millennial crisis of existence and struggling to find the push to do anything, and how life is overwhelming and you can't do anything about it, and who cares? I'm struggling with this one, I'll be honest. It's very easy to read, and there will be profound thoughts on Japan, the US, China, Hong Kong, politically, socially, economically, and the education system. But I am struggling with this main character. Like, he has zero drive, and it's so repetitive. Like, he's decided to be an ESL teacher, so like teaching English, and he'll be talking, or like you'll be reading about something, and then it'll be, I am an ESL teacher. And then it'll be talking about something else, and then it'll bring up the ESL teaching. It's very repetitive. I'm assuming it's doing it on purpose, but it's not hitting for me. But I am reading this pretty quickly. I went onto Goodreads, and I did see that quite a few people had read this book, didn't love it, but they had read this book because they loved his first book, which is called You Are Eating an Orange, You Are Naked. So I might read that one still after having read this one, and it's a lot shorter. It is 8:30. I did not spend all of my time from 6 to 8:30 reading this. I actually played a bit on my computer, and then it was on my phone, and then I was petting my cat. So this did not take me 2.5 hours to read. 120, like this much. It did not take me 2.5 hours to read that. I would say this probably took me only maybe 1 hour and 45 minutes. So this is probably going to take me maybe an additional 2 hours, 2.5 hours. Because I am, like I said, I'm more than halfway done. I want to finish this today. Like, that's the goal. Although technically this would be my 4th book, but I do want to finish this today. I'm going to take a break though, because this is, it almost feels like there's no point. there's been like 2 comments. So this is set in 2019. There's been 2 comments about the like the student protesting, but it hasn't been stated as a student protest, and it's just been in passing. Like, our main character Glue went outside for a run at 2 a.m., 3 a.m., and his bus station was destroyed, and there were police and riot gear there. And then in the morning, he goes out and he says the bus stop is back to normal. And that's it. That's literally all that's brought up about the protests. So unless more appears, I think it's just a discussion about this one dude who had opportunity and just squanders it for, I'm sure, some reason, but to me, I don't know, it's yeah. I feel like I'm even being more negative, and that maybe I should rank this at a 2. Ugh. Also, my hair is greasy because I keep running my hand through my hair. I'm almost like, should I rate this as a 2? But I recently read a book and I rated it as a 2, and I disliked that book more than I disliked this one. So I'm gonna leave it as a 3 for now. So I'm just gonna do something else. I think I might watch YouTube and knit a little bit. Oh, I can share. So I had submitted a pattern to Lina for their 52 weeks of textured patterns. They did not accept it, so I'm gonna release it as my very first pattern. So be on the lookout. It probably won't be released by the time this video goes up, but once it is released, I think I'll come back and put it in the description. So if you're interested in a sock pattern. So I'm bummed that Lina didn't accept it because I felt like it fit the Lina aesthetic super well. I mean, it is what it is. Good morning. It is Thursday, the 4th day of this 7 books in 7 day challenge. And I've been on YouTube for over 10 years now. I love the bathrobe. The bathrobe is me, essentially. If you've been here for that long, you'll have seen me in a bathrobe many, many, many times. So I did manage to finish Batch at 7 last night before I went to bed. It was very late, around 2 a.m., I believe. But the way that my mind works is the day doesn't start until I wake up. And so for me, I finished this book yesterday rather than today at 2 a.m. My opinions haven't changed. I'm still going to give this 3 stars. I felt like at the end, what was the point? The main character just was so unlikable in a sense that I didn't understand why they were so unlikable. They were, I guess, radical when they were in college, or like radical in the sense of not what traditional Hong Kong people believe. And so he wrote like a short story that I didn't think was that good, but whatever. And he goes back to Hong Kong, and he's just like, he's clearly depressed. He has an alcohol addiction. He is high all the time. He's literally like touching his dick constantly, watches porn all the time, which whatever, but like combining all of those things, he's just like not a good, he's like not a fun person to be around. He spends almost all of his time just like watching YouTube, basically being on social media essentially. And his family is like supporting him. His sister and his parents pay for the house that he lives in, this condo that he lives in. His sister constantly gets him job opportunities that he just flubs like epically. Basically, he no-shows, he is drunk, he shows up drunk, or he no-shows because he is drunk, and he just does a terrible job. He assaults somebody, which you kind of like, as you're reading it, you're like, no, this guy's a bad person. But then he takes it to the extreme, and then when he recounts it, he's basically just like, oh yeah, I was like drunk and high, and so I assaulted this man. And then he like sort of has this profound opinion about his brother-in-law's company, which is basically, they extort money from rich people to help them become citizens of Canada. And so he's got connections with companies in Canada, and literally he's like, you pay me $250,000 and I will get you a job at that company in Canada. They will lie, saying that you will have worked there for at least 2 years so that you can get your citizenship, and we will pay you back $50,000 of the $250 that you gave us as your salary. And so our main character, like, clearly, because he talks about scams constantly, like he thinks his ESL or ELS course, like, to teach kids English is a scam, because to know English you have, or to, like, I guess, be a citizen of Canada, you have to take this test. You have to take the more expensive one to prove that you know English, even if you've grown up speaking English for your whole life. And he considers all these scams, but then towards the end, he just starts talking in, I learned, it's called Konglish. So it's like broken English with specific, I don't know if it was Mandarin or Cantonese or just, I don't know. It was very weird. Like, I'm not Asian, so I can't write, like, it felt racist, but like, I don't know if that is what I'm supposed to feel like. Is that like taking back? I'm not sure, but it just felt so weird. And then at the end, he's working at the company, and I don't know. I didn't really enjoy my time reading it. And the back little blurb doesn't make sense to me. It is to run home alone in the rain without an umbrella, crying and enjoying it. I didn't really feel like he enjoyed anything. And the comments here, uncompromisingly honest, smart, and hilarious. I didn't find it very hilarious. Parts of it were smart, but I felt like our character was just dumb the whole time. Yeah, grimly hilarious. Again, I did not find it very funny. Sociopolitically trenchant and darkly witty. I guess I could align with that. Wonderfully strange and sage. See, I don't think this was wonderful. So, 3 stars is what I'm going to give it. I feel like I understand what it was trying to do, but I didn't enjoy getting there. So I then read 1 chapter of I Believe in a Thing Called Love before I went to bed. And then this morning I stayed in bed until noon and I am about halfway through this book. This is pretty cute. You're following Desi, who is everything. Like, she's a senior. She's the student body president. She is, I think, the captain of the soccer team. She is like a 4.25 GPA. She's applied early admission for college. She is like the best of the best at school. And she has this hilarious problem of where she constantly dramatically embarrasses herself when she has a crush on somebody. And I did find it pretty funny. Like, she has a crush on this kid and she is sick and she accidentally sneezes on him or coughs, and like a giant phlegm bubble just lands on him. Like, utterly embarrassing. And then the guy that she is like obsessed with right now, which is basically the whole book, her sweatpants fall down, so she basically just accidentally gets pantsed in front of him, which just like ridiculous. So she decides, oh, you know what? I'm gonna study K-drama and I'm gonna come up with a 24-step plan of like how to use the K-drama formula to make a relationship with this guy. And there are 24 chapters, and each chapter is the title of her step. So currently I'm on step 11, prove that you are different from all other women in the entire world. It's pretty funny. I'm enjoying it. We've just had a major background revelation on our man crush. His name is Luca, and he's an artiste, and he's a troublemaker. So like, you already have the classic like good girl, bad guy of K-drama. I'm enjoying it. I definitely would have gobbled this up younger. And I did buy this when I was significantly younger. When did I buy this? This came out in 2017. I feel like I bought it maybe around then. It was definitely before the pandemic is when I bought this. And I also bought I have another Marine Goo book, and it is I think it's about a K-pop artist. So I don't have a ton of YA books on my bookshelf anymore, but I do have quite a few that I have not read, and I think I need to make a dent in that. Edifix is looking so cute. He's laying with his head upside down. So anyway, I am on a roll. It is almost 1 o'clock. And ma'am, you're not supposed to be up here. You're not supposed to be up here. I am going to take a little bit of a break from reading this. This took 2 hours, so this will probably take 2 hours as well. So, or 2.5. So I think this is like a 5.5 hour book to read. Game plan is, like I said, take a little bit of a break. I'm gonna air dry my hair a little bit and then dry the rest of it. I am going to just knit a little bit and watch something. And then I'm gonna go walk over to a bakery cafe that is near me. It's called Maison Scali. I will take you, and my plan is just to read a little bit there while having a pastry and relaxing, just having a little bit of a change of scenery, and I think it'll be nice. So the goal will be to finish this book today, and then I'm unsure if I want to start this one or this one. So my thought is, if I read this one, I'll have finished this book, which would mean 2 books finished today. And that would be my, like, this is my 5th book. This would be my 6th book. And then I would be on to my 7th one already. Or I just go from this one to this, leaving my shortest one for tomorrow. I think I'm leaning to doing this. I'm almost leaning to like pausing on this and switching to reading this at the cafe. This feels like a cafe reading book because it feels dramatic and meaningful. We'll see. It'll probably be a spur of the moment decision, but heck, I think I'm gonna start both of these books today. I think I'm gonna have the time. I will finish this and I will at least start both of these, but I would love if I could like actually finish this one. I am very excited for this. I am going to just breeze through this, I know. The reflection of the phone. But this is Goodale Park. It's a park here. And I'm gonna find somewhere to sit. And read a bit. Sweaty. Hi, buddy. I just got back from hanging out at a park for an hour and a half. I finished, I believe in a thing called love. This was really cute. I really enjoyed this. I talked a bit about our main character, Desi. She is so weird. So she like comes up with the, let me itemize the steps of a K-drama and then try to apply it to my life in the sense of she literally causes a car accident to occur, a minor car accident, because she wants to be injured so that the love interest Luca will like be concerned for her and like, have the moment of, oh my gosh, I love her and I'm so concerned with her because she is injured, which happens in K-dramas. The car accident ends up being way more than minor, like the airbags deploy. Which is a little bit silly, but he ends up calling, a tow. It ends up being her dad because her dad's a mechanic. And then, okay, the one thing that I was like, they end up having a relationship, or like this book spans a couple months, and the car is being worked on that whole time. That's a bit much. Now, it isn't like unheard of for a vehicle to be in the body shop for several months. If you're new here, I spent 7 years in the auto industry, and a lot of car dealerships have a body shop attached to it. So when we would have to set up or just like assist in installing the software, there were certain things when you would set up for like closing of the month and stuff. With a body shop, you would have a lot of ROs or repair orders that would roll into the next month. And so sometimes you'd have to close it, reopen, things like that. So it wasn't uncommon for cars to be in a body shop for a couple months, but typically that was when there was massive amount of work to do. And it could be that they couldn't find a part, or they needed a specialized person and that person was already working on something else, or typically like body shop stuff doesn't go through your it's not covered under warranty, but it still would go through an insurance, and so there would a lot of times be this like battle of who's paying for it. But that was like not at all brought up in the book. So I was like, why is he still working on the car when it was a busted up fender, the tire popped, and so like then you're gonna have to deal with like the rim, maybe the axle, and then there was a comment about the transmission, which I know transmission is like a big job, but it's still like that part just didn't make sense to me for why it was taking that long to repair this one vehicle. But anyway, and then at the very end, like she still hasn't learned her lesson. Like we have the second act breakup, which is pretty dramatic, and I feel like as teens, like it was pretty dramatic, but teens are dramatic. And she like doesn't learn, and she still does something insane at the very end. But like, I get it. I mean, I never caused a car accident, but I did do things that were explicitly because I wanted a reaction out of a specific person. And that reaction was to like acknowledge me, notice me, want to hang out with me, things like that. Like, you know, we do stuff like that. And as teens, it's so dramatic, like the manipulation that we're doing, but it's like so minor, right? Like you're like thinking about it, you're overanalyzing, you're talking about it, you're playing the scenarios in your head, but like anybody on the outside doesn't notice a thing. So I enjoyed this. I'm giving this 4 stars. I thought it was really cute, and I like perfect but believable and very K-drama-esque in and of itself. So I really enjoyed it. And at the very end, there are a bunch of K-drama recommendations to watch, and I think the only one I've actually watched, I've heard of Coffee Prince, and I did watch Boys Over Flowers when I was in college because I read the manga and I really, really liked the manga. So I read, I watched the K-drama, and I remember like I got so hooked on it. I think I was watching it during finals because I was like the queen of procrastinating during finals week. This book does make me want to bury myself in a K-drama. I then already started When You Listen to the Song on Memory Loss and Writing by Lola LaFawn. I've only read 1 chapter, and I fear this is going to make me very contemplative. It's probably gonna make me sad. I doubt it's gonna make me cry because I'm just not that emotional of a person. It's very rare for me to cry, but I feel like this is gonna have me feeling things because again, just in 4 pages, the writing style is very, very beautiful. So, 5th book finished, 6th book started. I will absolutely finish this. Oh, and then I received a book from a publisher, from Penguin Random House. This is The Shampoo Effect by Jenny Jackson, who has written Pineapple Street. I haven't read Pineapple Street, but it is on my list of books to read, which if you ever go into my Goodreads, my to-be-read list is, I think, 3,800 books long. It's okay. But I think, is this like a summer romance? It's about a group of people who have been friends. They live on the coast, and one of the friend groups realizes she's pregnant, and it could throw off the friendship, like throw off the balance of the friendship. And wait, they cast one of the friends out, but it's not the one that's pregnant. It says, dazzlingly funny, sexy, and as juicy as it is astute, The Shampoo Effect is a story of late night parties, early mornings with small children, the dawn of middle life, and a group of old friends finally growing up despite all their best efforts to the contrary. Definitely not a book that I typically would read, but just that last sentence does make me, just reminds me of my friend group. I mean, not the like that one of us has impregnated the other. Anyway, The Shampoo Effect. Yay! So this is proof. You can win things from Goodreads. I've actually won quite a lot of books from Goodreads. I would say this might be my 6th book that I've won from Goodreads. I've been using Goodreads since 2009. So I think I've rated 1,400 books on Goodreads. I don't write reviews that often. I did have a phase where I was writing reviews, and I think that's when I really started getting quite a lot of books from Goodreads. So yeah, like I won my very first book was The Black Count of Monte Cristo, which was a nonfiction biography of Alexandre Dumas. In case you were ever curious, if you've ever wondered, like, do people actually win Goodreads awards? Yes, people do. It's been a long time though. The last one I won was in 2020, and it never arrived. I was kind of annoyed because it was the 3rd Meg Cabot book in the series. And I still haven't read it because I never got the arc for it. So it's okay. And this is a Read with Jenna book. I hate that they'd like this is not a sticker. Like, no one likes these. Literally no one likes these. Yet it is it's just a thing that they do. I love the cover though. It's almost like a oil pastel drawing. All right, I'm gonna take a break, drink some water, knit, because I ended up actually not knitting this morning when I said I would. I played Ticket to Ride on my computer while I finished a podcast episode. I'm running late. I have my hair appointment at 9, and it is 9. Lucky for me, it's just across the street. But I don't like to be like late for appointments. dark hair. I love it. I love it.
Hi. Hi, buddy. Bubby.
Just got back from the salon. It looks so good. I love it. You can kind of see, right, the purple. This is what my hair looked like in 2017. I'm so happy. So unfortunately, I did not get nearly as much reading done yesterday as I had thought. Okay, that's a lie. I did get a lot of reading done, but I had an update that I said, oh, I'm gonna read this and I'll get to worst scenario. And I did not even finish this book. So I read a bit while I was in the salon. I am at the halfway mark of this book. This is exactly what I said this was gonna be. Very reflective, very sad, poignant, and not just like a biography. There's like little bits and then the author's like thoughts and reflections on some of the aspects that have come out of Anne Frank, the diary, the annex, things like that. Interestingly, when I was in Amsterdam, we did a walking tour of like the Jewish district and part of Anne Frank. And our tour guide is German, and she called Anne Frank Anne Frank. And it had me thinking, like, in my head, I'm now also calling her Anne Frank because as a German, like some words, if they're German, like names, I will say them in my mind in the proper pronunciation. And it's, why have I never done that for Anne Frank? So I'm enjoying it. It's easy to read, but it's slow to read because you are taking in all of the words. So the game plan, I need to go look at my agenda. So today, the only thing I had on the docket was my hair appointment, which I have completed. It is now noon. Tomorrow, I have book club and board games with friends. And then Sunday, I originally had Stitch and Bitch, but that's been moved to next week. So I have all day today, and I just realized book club is tomorrow. I haven't finished that book. This is the book for book club. I started it last week, and I don't know why in my head I just didn't even think about how I would need to read this book before the meeting on Saturday. So what I think I'm gonna do is read the rest of this here at home, and then take this with me. And I'm thinking of going to Polaris or Easton and go to a bakery coffee shop in that area, relax a bit, and maybe go clothes shopping. We'll see. I want to do that, but I feel like I'll end up wasting a lot of time and not read is what could happen. So I definitely know that I want to finish this book, and I clearly have to finish this book. So let's just stay at home and read this one for now. Just finished When You Listen to the Song on Memory Loss and Writing by Lola LaFawn. Yeah, this is very, very sad. At the very end, the author introduces us to like a person of parallel from her own life, and that sent me down a rabbit hole. I just noticed there's a man on a roof right over there. But it sent me down a rabbit hole of looking up the Cambodian genocide and the communist regime and they don't really say dictator, but dictator, called Pol Pot. Does it make me naive that I've never heard of him at all? So I read his Wikipedia page, and it said that he's the world's sadistic despot. Never heard of him. So I then looked up what are some memoirs or books from that era, and I just bookmarked a couple books at my library to potentially check out. That's one of my favorite things about reading, is when a book inspires you to read more. So we're done. Book number 6 is complete, and I'm going to actually charge this phone before I leave. And yeah, I'm gonna get out of the house again. I love my hair. Book 7 officially complete. Not the planned book that I was going to be reading, but I just forgot I needed to finish this. Hello, Miss Ma'am. She's just you're being antsy, and I don't know why. You're just being antsy. Sisters of Sword and Song is a YA book about a lot of things. It reminds me of a lot of things. This was the book club book between my friends, and it was fine. It's YA. I think I rated it between a 3 and a 4, but I'm leaning towards 3 because I don't think this is gonna stay in my memory for that long, but it was fine. It's about these 2 sisters who live on an olive farm, forest, orchard. The oldest sister is selected to be a hoplite. The younger sister stays home and works in the family business. And the story opens up with the family getting ready for the older sister's return, like graduation from her program, I guess. But instead of it being a happy occasion, it's a terrible occasion because we find out that the older sister has killed the commander's son, who is her shield brother. And the major complaints of this story are that it wasn't very deep. Like, the whole time, I was expecting there to be more about the older sister. So basically, the older sister accidentally kills her best friend, basically. They're practice sparring, and she has her eyes covered by cloth, and she like basically slices his neck. Just so weird to me, because like in every movie, TV show, book that I ever read that's like medieval or like sword practicing, they're always using like wooden swords or swords wrapped in cloth. Like, that's just always a thing. So that was kind of weird. There are magical relics, and the whole point is there's this secret plot to fix the magic that is controlling the queen. The queen is being controlled by her sister, and this is very Lord of the Rings with King Theoden, when like Sauron has covered his eyes and he's like that old guy that's just like sleeping and can't really like do anything. That's what this felt, and I only got the feeling at the very, very end when we actually meet the queen, and it basically just says she's sleeping. So it was weird that like no one could step up when they all see that the queen is like being manipulated by the sister. That's just kind of in the background the whole time. And the sister that we follow for the most part is the younger sister. She takes on part of the debt from the older sister, from her trial of having murdered the best friend. So she's supposed to work in the family for 5 years. She ends up working there for like 4 days, and then is brought into the into the plan. And then her and the brother of the slain friend go off to go find this relic. And one of the relics, or the relic that they grab, is this like crown that you can wear, and it'll let you see past, present, and future. So like everybody wants it, and no one puts it on. Like even after it's stolen, no one puts it on. So it was a little weird, but it was fine. Like it was just very surface level book, but pretty long. And I'm done. I've done 7 books in 6 days. I'm still planning to start the worst case scenario, but I'm not going to start it right now because it's 4:30. I'm going to eat this mango mousse thing that I bought because I've been wanting to try these, and I need to go buy some Jenny's ice cream because I'm going to my friend's house for board games, and I'm bringing ice cream. And I need to be there before 6 o'clock. So probably done reading for today. My hair does not look the greatest. I did put a lot of dry shampoo in it. So I did start the worst case scenario. I did not get very far, only a tiny, tiny bit. But the intro basically says, I think this is going to involve a plane crash into a nuclear power plant. I mean, I'm here for it. I am excited. I don't know if I'm going to finish it because I've already hit my goal of 7 books in 7 days, but we will see how far I get. For now, I'm craving crepes, so I'm going to make some crepes. And frankly, I'm probably just going to do some knitting. I want to finish my socks and just have a relaxing day. And to wrap up this video, here are the 7 books I managed to finish in the 7 days, plus the book that I did not finish. So I'm just going to quickly recap my opinions and kind of rank the books that I read from worst to best. So I'm going to say the worst ones that I read were Batshit 7 and The Wild Iris. This one because poetry just never is for me. It was just really depressive. So it was fine. And then Batshit 7, I just did not understand the point. I felt like it was trying to make a point, and I just did not care about this character and his reasonings because I felt like he had no reasonings. He was just extremely unlikable, and I don't mind an unlikable character, but I just didn't understand him. Had no drive, and I just disliked so much about him. Next, we have Sisters of Sword and Song, and this one was just fine. It was fine. I enjoyed my time reading it, but I feel like there could be so much betterness. There could have been a lot of things done differently. Parts of it were just paced off, like battles were really short, and then we spent so much time doing other things that really did not need to take that much time. So it was reminiscent of like fantasy from 50 years ago, I felt like, or even more. What am I trying to think of? Madeleine L'Engle, her, like A Wrinkle in Time. I felt like it was similar to that in that you had all this time and then the climactic evil battle is like literally 2 pages, and that's what this guy felt like. And then I had I Believe in a Thing Called Love, which was so surprising to me. I really enjoyed this book. I thought this one was really fun and kind of wild, but also like believable for a teenager to go to such lengths to do just crazy stuff. So this was really, really fun, and I absolutely will read more Maureen Gu. And I think I have at least one more on my shelf that I plan to get to this year. Then I have a 3-way tie of 5 stars. These were all fantastic. This one was I wouldn't say memoir, but it's definitely like little vignettes on Anne Frank and genocide and loss. It's fantastic. I have Lore Olympus, which is a graphic novel of Hades and Persephone, and this was so much fun. I can't wait to read the rest in the series, and I haven't yet, but I plan to put the second one on my reserve it from the library soon. And then lastly, my favorite book of this vlog is Girls Girl. This was fantastic. I'm lucky enough to have a signed edition from the author, and this just felt like my journal being read, minus the lesbian awakening, minus that part, but everything else felt so relatable. So those are all the books that I managed to finish. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know if you have ever done a challenge like this. I would be so curious to know, if you have, do you read like full on novels? every day, or do you sprinkle in like novellas and graphic novels to be able to hit that number? Because most of us can't just spend the whole day reading as much as we would like to. And frankly, I find that I can't, like my attention span doesn't allow me to do that anymore. When I was a child, oh my gosh, summers I would spend out in my jungle gym reading or playing my Game Boy. And now a big part of it is because knitting is such a huge part of my life. I will be reading and thinking, oh, I kind of want a break to just knit a little bit. So anyway, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.